All right. I'm so excited today to have Mandy DeHart with me. So, Mandy, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Ellery. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yes, I know this is a crazy week for you. So, we're honored that you took the time to come and talk to us and speak to our listeners.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, can you tell us right now what kind of your current season of life looks like with all the different roles that you
Yes,
play?
absolutely. Well, this week I'm at General Conference, as Ellery mentioned. And this week I'm managing social media for Global Missions, which I've never done before.
Okay.
So I am just trying to fill a need this week, and it's going great. It's a learning experience, requiring some elasticity, but that's a good thing. And so this season of life, I'm a mother. I have twins that are 2.5 years old, identical twin boys, Jackson and Jude. They are not here this week. Um,
But we were just talking about how cute they are.
I think so, but I'm very partial. They're really sweet boys, and they're very mischievous and wild, high octane, busy, 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 but it's a lot of fun. So that's my first priority. I'm a mother. I'm married. I've been married for 7 years to a wonderful man. He's a great dad, great husband, and he's very supportive of me in my career and ministry
Awesome.
endeavors. And I'm very grateful for that. As I was pulling out to come to the airport to come here, I gave him a hug and I was teary eyed, and I said, "Thank you for giving me the space to do this."
Yeah.
And he told me, "I want you to take every opportunity you ever get." And so we both support one another in that way. And sometimes that requires some hats shifting around. Sometimes I'm single mom in it for a few days. Sometimes
Sure.
he's single dad in it for a few days. But family time's a priority. We come together as we try to. We're not perfect at it, but once a week, family day, unplug from it all and just be with each other. So I'm a mom, a wife. That's my first priority. And then my husband and I just moved to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
and serve on the pastoral team there. My husband's one of the associate pastors there. And very excited about that. And so that's another hat that I wear.
Sure.
I volunteer at the church. My husband is employed by the church. I primarily help with the music and
Okay.
you know, people, things, and pastoring things. And I'm a gap filler and I'm a recruiter. So people laugh because they don't come to me with an issue unless they want a solution.
Sure.
They'll say, "Oh, we don't have enough help in the media booth." Give me 1 second. Who are you? Are you a minor? If so, is your parent? Let me get your email address, your phone number, and your cell phone carrier. I'll add you in planning center. Let's get going. So, um, I feel really blessed to serve at the church that we do. And we have an amazing pastor, and he is so supportive of strong women. And
Mm,
that's such a gift. It's really rare. He's supportive
absolutely.
of creatives and strong women. And I just feel so blessed to be in a circle where um, I can be who God called me to be. And that's so rare to find. And I'm very grateful for that. And then I own a marketing company. Um, Stumbled onto it by accident a few years ago while I was in grad school. I picked up graphic design working in a church, and worked at a marketing company just for a side income, and it became a career on accident. So I love my job. It's very flexible. And then professionally, I'm a counselor,
Mhm.
and I actually have hung that up
Okay.
professionally in the season
Sure.
while I focus on other things. And I can only have, for me, one emotional vacuum in my life.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the right way to say that. I mean that in a
Yeah.
positive way. And ministry, I feel like needs that part of me right now. So
Sure.
I will pick it up professionally in the future.
Mhm.
But that's sort of the context of my life right now.
Okay. Well, I love that you are able to recognize that too about how much you have to give and also the pieces of your life that pull on you emotionally and
Yes.
what your
Yes.
limit is for that. And because I think that's important.
Absolutely. I learned that the hard way.
As most of us do, it seems
I
like.
learned that the hard way. I have always been a plower. I've always been a yes, I can do it. Yes, I'll make it happen. I'll figure it out. Go, go, go. I'm a 1 on the Enneagram.
Okay.
I don't know if we talk about
Yeah,
personality
sure.
stuff on here. I'm a 1 on the Enneagram. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm a doer. I
Okay.
can sometimes lean towards being a workaholic, and so I've learned the hard way about just knowing what you can handle, and I have to constantly watch my um, pace.
Sure.
I have to constantly watch it, and again, I'm grateful for my family, my husband,
Mm.
close friends, spiritual leadership in our lives that know me well enough to say, "How's your pace?"
Yeah.
and remind me to just accomplish what I can for the day, make time for God and my family and some
Absolutely.
rest, and then I'll do what I can tomorrow.
Yeah. That's such a good question to just summarize that. How's your pace? And
Yes, I was asked it recently. That's why it's fresh on my mind.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think also knowing there's some things in life that come and they're non-negotiables.
Yes.
Kids,
Yes.
they're handed to you and they're non-negotiables and they are going to pull on your emotions and your time and how much strength you have and what you have to give, your sleep, everything,
Absolutely. Yes.
every
Absolutely.
aspect. But then there are other areas of life that they can set aside for a little bit and be there
Yes.
when we come back. And how do you maintain um kind of you in all of that, your identity when you have all these different roles pulling on you, and kind of that wisdom to know what can be set aside, what can't be, while maintaining who you are?
That's a great question. I wish you had the answer for me. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm not really sure. Parenting, as you were asking me that question, I feel like I didn't really know who I was meant to be totally until I became a mother.
Mm.
And I get emotional talking about it because we had our children. It was unplanned, and sometimes I feel guilty saying that because there's people who so desperately want a season to be, and it's not. And I've experienced that in other areas of my life, but in this area, it was an unplanned pregnancy. We were homeless, jobless, in the middle of a massive life transition, and it rocked our world. And it was so unexpected. And so with that, I felt like when my kids were born, they were meant for me, and I was meant for them. And I feel like, you have these moments in life where it's just these divine intersections and connections where you just know you were meant to be mine. I was meant to be yours, and we were meant to do this together. And my children are one of the things in that in my life. Of course, my husband, but parenting, I'm the only mother they ever get. That's it. And so anything that I look at on my plate, if someone else can do it, I'm going to pass it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass it.
Yeah.
I read a book recently about boundaries, and it's called The Best Yes. And the beautiful thing about that is my no gives room for God to give someone else a yes. And so if someone else can lead worship on a Sunday,
Wow.
I'm going to pass it. If someone else can handle a detail, can disciple a person, can teach a Bible study, I'm going to pass it, because my family, I can't replace me.
Mm.
And I can't I there's no substitute for mom, there's no
Yeah.
substitute for wife, but there is substitute for a graphic designer or a music director or
Yeah.
worship leader or Sunday school teacher or administrator or
Mhm.
counselor.
Yeah.
There's other subs, but I want to do what only I can do, and then let people
Mhm.
grow
Uh,
by delegating.
that's such a beautiful perspective, and I think it takes the pressure off of us, number one,
Yes,
to
yes, it does.
be all to everyone. But then number two, it keeps us it keeps our priorities straight and keeps what's important right in front of our faces,
Yes.
and not to think that we are so important almost that we have to fill every role in
Yes.
life, but that someone else is waiting for that opportunity and maybe
Yes.
will be grateful for
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
It keeps a very community mindset and
Yes.
keeps others growing as well as we go into
Yes.
what we need to do.
And really it builds the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
And you know, when I had children, and just as life goes on, whether you are single or married, or children or no children, as life goes on, your load just grows. It doesn't get
Yeah.
any easier.
Right.
I read something on social media the other week that says adulting is saying it'll be better next week over and over again until you die. I'm like, yeah, that's so true. Like,
Somehow it never comes.
it'll ease up next week,
Yeah.
you know, which
Once I
is,
get through
yeah, which is
this.
a lie.
Yeah.
And so I lost my train of thought. I'm really tired.
Talking about seasons,
Um,
getting through them.
yes,
Yeah.
okay. um, you just you I've learned my limitations,
Yeah.
and um, and there's only so much of me to go around, and that's what it is. And on the other side of that, I want to fill the roles that only I can fill, but then on the flip side, I'm here this week. It's kind of ironic because I'm here this week, away from my family for a few days, which is rather gut wrenching if I'm honest. And it's about balance, like if I can bring my kids when me or my husband are traveling, for something related to church, or work or ministry, we bring them along when we can. My kids love church, and we were talking before the podcast. They spend more time at the church out of church time, and so they don't really know how to behave during church
Sure.
because they spend more time at church, not at church.
Right.
But they love church, and we don't have them up there every day. We try to be careful about not, keeping their lives balanced too. But we're just doing our best to, and I feel like this is part of the journey. And every season, you do your best to to love God, to walk with Him, to love the people in your orbit, and to grow little by little. And that balance shifts from season to season.
Absolutely. And knowing who you are, being kind of centered enough in that to let seasons change and be
Yes.
okay with that
Yes.
can be so difficult,
Yeah.
but it's so beautiful when you
Yes.
have that just knowledge and awareness of
Mm,
who you are
yeah.
enough to let things shift and be
Yes.
okay
And
with that.
speaking of changing seasons, I thought of a scripture right before we started the podcast today, and I'm probably going to botch it. I'm not a theologian.
Me neither.
I
It's all
leave that
right.
to my husband. I'm like, that one verse about that one thing. I don't think the
Like in the New
context
Testament somewhere, and it says,
somewhere, and I'm going to totally paraphrase it, but is that right? Like, I'll ask him, is this theologically sound? He's like, not really. I'm like, okay, great, thanks. Can you tell me what word needs to
yeah,
shift?
can you give me actually what would work
Yeah,
here?
yeah, please. I'm trying to make a point.
Yeah,
So support that point. No, I'm just kidding.
exactly.
So I thought about the scripture. A man has his own plans, and then the Lord orders his steps, something
Yeah.
like that. And I was asking Ellery, what's the context of the scripture? Professional, who's the audience? And what I can say is I've always been pretty driven and ambitious. And when I was in high school, I had a plan. When I was in college, I had a plan. I had the grand plan. I had my plan for the day, week, month, year, 5 year, 10 year, long term. And nothing's panned out like I planned it. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's been so much better. Like, and what's so amazing about it is I feel like God always orders our steps in a way where He gets the glory, bottom line.
Yeah.
And I set out to do these different things, and yet God put me on other paths. And when He led me there, I could have never done it myself. I was never even looking for it, and yet He gave it to me. And so I just hold it so loosely, like, okay, God, this is okay. Marketing is it for this season, and these doors just keep flying open, and I have kind of this imposter syndrome. Well, I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm just
sure.
flying by the seat of my pants here, YouTubing how to do the latest design
Yeah.
trend. But the Lord puts it in my hand and in each of our hands, and we just, how are we managing it? How do we steward it? And then it'll shift. For years I did, music, and I sang and led worship, and I still do those things, but I don't hold it tightly.
Mm.
It comes, opportunities come. I say yes when I can. And then when I do it, I'm thinking of, okay, I'm getting older. And not that I'm old, I'm in my 30s, but I'm getting older. And who, when I look up, who's around me who needs to be trained and mentored,
Yeah.
who I can pass the ball to, and it's become this really, and it hasn't always been that way. If you know anything about the Enneagram, number ones are not flexible.
Sure.
We like our plans and we like them to
Mhm.
be perfect and don't mess them up.
Yes.
Please, thank you. Goodbye. um, but just through life and hardships and struggle and disappointments and redirecting and detours in life, it's broke me it's broken me into this place where it's like, God, I'm yours, and in the weird seasons I'm yours, and in the good ones I'm yours, and whatever you put in my hand, I'm just gonna work it. I'm gonna do my best, and whether that's music or counseling or marketing or parenting or pastoring or um whatever it is, I'm gonna do my best. And I know I've got my plans, but you light my path. And before we moved to Washington D.C., we moved to Virginia to plant a church with all these plans, and then I got pregnant, unexpectedly with twins, and there were a lot of hardships, a lot of struggles. I'm very tired. My kids don't know, they don't sleep very well, well still.
Yeah.
I'm on like year 3 of not sleeping,
Ugh,
and it really wears you
it
down.
does. Yeah.
And then you make this major life transition and it doesn't work. And no
Mhm.
one prepares you for those weird seasons.
Yeah.
Like nobody.
Yeah.
We just talk about all the plans. I've got this
Mhm.
degree and that degree, and I went to school here and I went to school there, and blah blah blah. And I did all the things, and I met all the goals. And my Instagram profile and LinkedIn profile is really impressive. But
Yeah.
or I mean, I'm not saying mine is, but I'm saying we do these things. I don't even have a LinkedIn. We do all these things to try and make sure we do it right.
Right.
And those are good goals, but the Lord really just directs our steps. And so we had all these plans fall through and all these unexpected things happen, and we had a holding pattern for a few years. And I thought, God, this is so disjointed. It's all, we're just trying to make it work, and trying to just be fruitful where we were. And when God opened the right door, though, we couldn't have dreamed it up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a walk in the park, because that is not true.
Sure.
But you go to when you let the Lord order your steps and make a path for you, make a way for you,
Mhm.
and you go where He guides you, whether it's easy or hard, or what you want or what you don't want. You go to bed at night really tired but really fulfilled.
Hmm.
And that's I go to sleep at night fulfilled. Even on the really messy days,
Yeah.
I go to bed knowing my mental health needs a little extra attention this week, a little anxious, need a down day. I
Sure.
need somebody to take my phone from me and throw it in the river, and 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 lock me out of every app
Yeah,
and
sure.
freeze my calendar. And I need to spend more time with my spouse and not get so frustrated with my kids. And I got to do all these, working on just it's constant work in progress on yourself. But I go to bed knowing I'm where God wants me, and if He moves me tomorrow, I'll go.
Yeah.
So
That's so beautiful. It's such a picture of just trust in in God for your journey.
yeah.
And such a way to I love how it shows just your personality naturally being a perfectionist,
Mm-hmm.
but letting that tear away a little bit to let God order your steps. Not saying that it lowers your standards any. It doesn't say that you're working any less hard or doing things with any less excellence, but it's not for your own accomplishments at that
Yes.
point.
Yes.
And that's beautiful. and it lets your story work out in the way that he has planned for you.
Yes. And I'll just say this. This is a podcast for women. And as women, we battle insecurity.
Absolutely.
Am I enough?
Mhm.
We compare. Am I talented enough? Am I smart enough? Am I funny enough? Am I pretty enough? You know, do I fit in this circle or that circle, or where's my place? Or we battle all these feelings of worthiness, like, eh, am I good enough? And I will say one of the most liberating things on my journey up to this point, and it's still something the Lord has to refine, it kind of rears its head and
Sure.
work it out, is just being settled in. This is who I am. This is how God made me. And I'm not meant to sit at every table.
Yeah.
I'm not meant to be liked by everybody. I'm not meant to fit in every niche. But this is who God made me to be. And whatever that looks like, He doesn't make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And I would encourage you today, if you're in a weird spot, a weird season, and just like, this isn't working, I need to change who I am, or I need to be different, or I need to be more like this person or that person. None of that's true, even if it
Yeah.
feels true. And we're all fearfully and wonderfully made. And the quicker we can get to that conclusion that I am who God made me to be, and I trust that God made me well. And if I'm a size 6 or a size 24,
Mhm.
and I'm not, binging cheeseburgers.
Sure.
Okay, I'm not saying it's okay to, have to
Yeah.
take care of our bodies, but that's who God made me to be. And
Absolutely.
I'm not there's I we have this a limited amount of time. Like, time is such a valuable resource, and you can't
Mhm.
get more of it. We have this limited window
Yeah.
on earth.
Yeah.
And that's kind of heavy, but it's so limited. And let's invest it in the things that we can actually do something
Yeah.
about. And just, for me, learning to accept and going through the process of accepting, these are my flaws, these are
Mm.
these are the things I struggle with, these are the things I'm insecure about. Yet, God, you made me this way, and I will trust that you made me well.
Yeah. I love that. If we could all just have that message internalized every day, we
Every
would
day.
all walk around. Yeah, we probably need it every day,
Every day.
but walk around with such a secure confidence. It's
Yes.
not an overconfidence, but it's just a security of
Yes.
I am running in my lane and doing what I'm purposed to do
Yes.
in this season. It may look
Yes.
different a year from now, it may look different next week, but
Yeah.
in this season, I'm purposed
Yes.
here.
You know, I was thinking about, obviously, I said earlier, I'm a therapist by, profession. And so we all have, just like in a car, you've got this dashboard
Mhm.
that tells you, they're like indicators, right?
Sure.
We have those for ourselves as well. And for me, on my dashboard, when I know I've got some work to do when it comes to my security
Mhm.
and confidence in Christ, is when I start, ones on the Enneagram where we're very performance driven, we're very results driven. And when I start, whether it's a work project or something with ministry or music or marketing, when I start wanting to know, did you like it or did you not? That's an indicator for me.
Sure.
I got to work on it. I got to take it back to the prayer closet again.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to a point now, which it happened a few years ago in music. I would walk off the platform, and I didn't want, I genuinely got to a place. I don't want you to say anything about it.
Mm.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, um, because it's nothing to do with me. None of it does. It's all for the glory of God. And so that's a good indicator for all of us, is just knowing in yourself what are the red flags that tell you, maybe maybe we need to open the hand a little bit and let God blow us where
Yes.
he wants, if that makes sense.
Yes. Those signs that you're not living with an open hand. I think you're spot on. It's so important for everyone to know that for themselves. I'm a 2 on the Enneagram. So
Okay.
I'm very much a helper and I'm very people driven. And so
Yes.
when I walk away thinking, was I needed? Was I
Mm,
wanted?
yes.
Do I fit here? That's for me how I know maybe I'm putting my value in
Yes,
the
value.
response I'm getting from people
Yes.
or the affirmations I'm getting from people. Maybe that's where I'm getting my value right now instead of knowing and being secure in my
Yes.
season that I'm supposed to be here. This is what I'm called for right now, whatever that looks like, whatever I'm
Absolutely.
doing. And so I know that looks a little different for every personality maybe, but I know that's so important for all of us to have that self-awareness of when am I getting a little off track or when am I
Yes.
getting a little more into my insecure places because we all have them like you
Yes, we all
said.
do.
Yeah, and
We
we
all
we can
do.
operate through that lens rather than the secure lens so
Yes.
easily, especially as women like you were
Yes.
saying, because there's body image, there's career, profession, there's family, there's so many areas that we are kind of almost expected to perform in every
Yes,
day
absolutely.
constantly, and so
Absolutely.
living in that secure place is
Yes.
so important.
Yes, and just to kind of tie a bow on it, with the analogy about the, dashboard,
Yeah.
we're in it for the long journey. Like we are meant to be long journey cars, right? We want
Yes.
to make it
We're
till
in for that 300,000 miles or whatever.
we are Hondas
Yeah.
that get regular oil
We have
changes.
so many lives. Yes.
So many lives. That's what we're meant to.
Honda's driven by grandparents.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No food in the car.
Yes. Regular mechanic. They know your name.
Yes, absolutely. Um, we're designed for the long journey, and we're not. Even God rested. Even God knew his limitation. Well, not he doesn't have limitations, but God valued
He
rest.
exampled that for
He
us.
modeled it. That's absolutely right. He modeled it, and and so we're designed for the long journey, and what our route is, only the Lord knows. But what we can do is take care of the vessel. We can take care of the car. We can know our indicators, and that takes some work, some really deep soul work, heart work, to know that about yourself.
Absolutely.
It requires some mentors. It requires maybe a counselor. It requires accountability, vulnerability with people that you give permission to say, how's your pace? Slow down. You will burn out. I see a nervous breakdown coming
That
down
one
the
needs to
pike.
go on my mirror as well. With
How's your
how's your
pace?
pace?
Yeah, yeah. Someone asked me the other week, and it's been just reverberating in my head. So we're designed for the long haul. We're designed for the long journey, and God has a very specific journey in mind for us. And all we can do is steward the vehicle.
Absolutely. Oh, that's beautiful. I want to like write it down
Oh.
right now so I don't forget it because it's such a good reminder
Well,
all
you
the
can listen
time.
to the
There we go.
podcast.
I'll just have it on repeat. Listen to Mandy's words of wisdom.
I don't know about that.
All right. So I'm just curious, you just from a more practical standpoint, your journey accidentally stumbling into marketing, as you put it
Yeah.
earlier. How did that happen for you? What did that look like? Was it something you were just interested in and then it kind of
No,
took off?
zero interest,
Okay.
actually. Um, when me and my husband got married, my husband and I got married, I moved to North Carolina where he lived, and the pastor's wife was a graphic designer, fabulous graphic designer. And I was trying to find my place, as a lot of newlyweds do, especially when you move. You feel kind of like, ugh, I don't really know where I fit.
Sure.
And the things I felt like I brought to the table, other people were doing. And so but I wanted to do something meaningful. And so I started shadowing her. So to free her up to do what only she could do. And that's where I learned it. And then we moved to Connecticut, and I was finishing up my graduate degree in counseling. And I had learned the skill enough to kind of know what I was doing. I guess I still feel like I don't really know what I'm doing sometimes, but actually, a lot of the time. But so I worked for a marketing company. I was afforded an opportunity I didn't deserve. The church we were at, the pastor owned a marketing company, and so I worked for
Mhm.
that company, and I really cut my teeth there. I learned a lot. I'm very grateful for my time there. and for those from that business that really gave me the space to, you know, to grow. And
Yeah.
so, and then I was just going to school for to be a counselor.
Mhm.
That's what I wanted. That was my plan.
Sure.
Then we moved to Virginia to plant a church. Suddenly, we're having a hard time finding a job and just getting our, finding housing, getting our feet on the ground. And then I thought, I'd love to buy some Christmas presents for my family this year. It was such a simple
Sure.
thought. We had just moved, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a Christmas card promotion on Facebook.
Mm.
So that's what I did. Very, simple. And my only goal was going home to see, we're going to see my family this year for Christmas, and I love to get everyone a gift.
Sure.
And so I did that, and within a year, I had probably 30 clients.
Wow.
And I've never promoted other than Christmas card promotions. I've never, and I did them maybe 3 years in a row. I no longer promote them. They're a lot of work. But I do suggest that to anyone else want to start a marketing
Sure.
company, find a low investment way that people can try out
Yeah.
and have a good experience with you. And a lot of it has just been from, personal connections that I've had. And, a lot of my clients are nonprofits or churches or nonprofit organizations. And we have the same value system.
Mhm.
They value timeliness, confidentiality, integrity, things like that. And so we've got the personal relationship, or they're a connection of a connection of a connection.
Sure.
And the Lord has just opened up every door, and
Mhm.
it was totally on accident. And as the doors have opened, I've been challenged creatively, and I learn new skills as I go.
Very cool. I love hearing when like an unexpected door opens, but it maybe frees you up to do the other things that God
Yes,
has
yes,
called you to do in your
yes,
season. Has that this kind of been that avenue for you?
absolutely. It's flexible. Working as a counselor and just in, church work and in the ministry, I mean, and this, Ellery, people work is kind of emotionally exhausting.
Yes.
Graphic design and marketing uses a different part of my brain.
Absolutely.
And I can kind of zone, and I've always had this creative bug in me. And when I was
Mm.
younger, I liked to sew clothes and make my own styles,
Okay.
Then I realized this is really hard work and rather just buy someone
Sure.
else's. So, but I've always had this part in me that loves to be creative. And
Mm.
so this isn't a huge outlet for that. And I will say, God knew, because in the creative field, there's a lot of creatives out there that are not administrative in any way. They're always in the clouds, and they're wonderful. We need creatives like that.
Absolutely.
And creativity is not my primary thing I bring to the table in my in my job. But the two things married, administration and creativity,
Yeah.
is like just kind of a God breathed route for me. And this is the door, and it's
Mhm.
become a wide open door,
Yeah.
and it's very flexible. Some days I work 12 hours because I own the business. So if there's a
Sure.
need, leading up to conference, I was burning the midnight oil a lot.
Mhm.
I don't do that ordinarily. But then if I want to take a couple days with my family, or I've got something going on at the church, or I need to be with my family to free my husband up to go do what he's called to do, I can do that.
Yeah.
So it's the perfect part-time job, which it's not really part-time. I say that, and
Sure.
it's closer to full-time, but it's perfect for me in this season for my family.
I love that. And it seems like it's fulfilled such a need for your family. Like you're
It
saying for your
has,
ministry
yes,
and
yes,
allowed you to give emotionally like you were saying to the
yeah,
other aspects of your life, but also just time-wise having the
yes,
time to say
yeah,
I need this day, I need that day,
yeah,
and I can organize my schedule to be able to
yes,
do that is such a gift.
it is. And then the opportunity to just serve my clients. I feel so, my work feels so meaningful because I'm supporting churches and organizations that do big things, and I get to be a part of that. And it's something I really consider an honor. And sometimes it doesn't hit me until I see something I've designed in this large scale way. But like, I'll be honest, last night, we're at a conference this week, and last night we were in a service that I did a lot of, the design for and help brand the
Sure.
event. And when I saw it, though, we've been working on it since the spring. I mean, this huge initiative. But when I saw it, I didn't literally the thought came to my mind, it's not mine.
Hmm.
Like, I had this passing thought, yes, I recognize it, but it's not mine. Like,
Hmm.
I feel no ownership of it. I feel like it's God's
Yeah.
gift to me that I give back to him.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful, liberating feeling to have.
Yes. It's back to
So
that security
yeah,
piece that you're
yes.
talking about, where if your first thought was, "Do you like it?" Turning to
No.
your neighbor, "Do you like it? Do you like it?"
What do you think of that logo on the
Yes.
screen?
What do you think of that?
To a total
Exactly.
stranger. No, I didn't.
Yes.
No, yes, absolutely.
But you
And
could be crushed by someone saying, "No, I don't like
yeah,
that."
yeah, absolutely. And do I fight it sometimes? If I hear something
Absolutely.
critical, yeah, we all do. We all want to be loved and
Absolutely.
liked. And do I beat myself up sometimes? Yeah. And do I have mom guilt sometimes for balancing a bunch? Yeah, I do. But I think what God wants from all of us is our genuine state every day.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, do we grow? Yes. Does that let us off the hook to just go rogue? No. But our genuine, bringing our heart to the table every day. God, I'm overwhelmed today. God, I bombed it this morning as I was feeding my family breakfast. I was annoyed and frustrated and lost my cool as I refereed a fight over the truck for the 8,000th time. I lost it,
Yeah.
Cue, pull up Amazon, buy a book about parenting better or this better.
Yes.
The perfectionist in me, there's got to be a
Mhm.
way to fix it. No, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just God's hand is on each of our lives, and he will order our steps, and we
Yes.
have our plans. He lights the way, and we're his children, and he wants our heart more than anything. He wants us to connect with him in a way that is human and raw
Mhm.
and vulnerable, and that's what he wants from us. He wants our heart, just like our family, our friends, our spouses. They don't want this perfect rendition of us that's a
Right.
robot. They want us.
Mm.
They want our time, our attention. They want to know how we're doing for
Yeah.
real. And God's the same way. And that's been that part of my walk with God has helped me so much with the security piece. It's me and Jesus, ride or die, every day.
Yeah.
And in my brokenness and in my achievements and it all, he's who I run to. And even in my marriage, sometimes me and my husband, we've learned in our marriage when we're having a rough day, or he'll look at me and he'll say, we need to go talk to the Lord about it before we talk about it again.
Yeah.
Or I'll do the same for him. I can't meet that need for you. The Lord can. And we turn each other back to the source.
Mm.
And I want to do that with my kids. They're really little
Mhm.
now, but there's been times I've had to say, I'm so sorry. And only Jesus will never disappoint you.
Yeah.
Can I'm sorry. And that's the beauty of walking with God, of the cross, of just the
Yeah.
Christian life, is we don't have to be perfect. We just have to
Mhm.
show up every day with our best and do our best to live a Christ honoring, disciplined life
Mhm.
and faithful life, and just use what's in our hand.
Wow, so good. It's
Thank
just
you.
our genuine selves
That's it.
every day.
Yep. Our best yes every day, and steady faithfulness. And God, I'm telling you, with faithfulness, God honors it every time. He doesn't need perfection. He just needs us, day
Yeah.
in, day out, us. And us with, we weren't meant to do life alone. Us with the tribe, us with
Mhm.
accountability, us with spiritual leadership.
Mhm.
That's the recipe for being used of the Lord and
Yeah.
fulfilling our callings, in my opinion.
Absolutely. No, that is so good. I want to take it all to heart and just let it change me too,
Oh,
because it's so good. And I think it speaks to our audience too, who is by and large achievers and
yes.
people who are running hard down their
Mhm.
path and pursuing their calling. And so
Mhm.
that knowledge that we don't have to show up perfect,
No.
but we do have to show up genuine, and we have
Yes.
to
Yes.
let those jagged edges show a little bit,
Yes.
and in order for God to maybe shape us if he has us going a little bit of a different
Mhm.
direction than
Yes.
what we would have envisioned.
Absolutely.
And I know you're talking about just using your giftings in ways that you would have never expected
Mhm.
yourself, but that it
Yeah.
leaves you so fulfilled
It
because it's
does.
right.
Yes, absolutely. It makes me think of just in the journey, there's seasons of silence. There's seasons where you're hidden, there's seasons where you're just you feel like you're isolated and doing things by yourself with a very small circle. And we just walked a season like that. And I think in analogies a lot. So what I would describe it as is some in some seasons, especially for the achievers out there, the career-minded people who just want to meet goals and do the things and meet, by 35,
Yes.
I'm doing this. By 24, I will be done with
Cross it
X,
off the list.
off the list and
Yes.
on to the next mountain
Yes.
to hike. Um, some seasons are foggy, and if you think of fog, it's dense.
Mhm.
It, it's typically very brief, but it's very dense, and you tread slowly.
Yeah. It's disorienting.
It's disorienting.
Yeah.
You feel very isolated, very
Mhm.
lost. But what happens when fog clears? It's like an immediate whew,
Yeah.
and it's gone.
Yeah.
And it lifts, and then there's clarity. And then there's this poignant placing of this is my I was going to say path, but that's too many alliterations. A poignant placing on a path. I'm not
Write a book. There you go.
no, no. So I could hear my friends and family laughing at that as I was saying it. So I'm not gonna alliterate, although it's would be it
It's
would
perfect.
it
We'll
would
just go with it.
sell better. But just stay the course, one foot in front of the other. In the weird seasons, in the in between seasons, in the seasons when maybe you're working towards a promotion or towards completing that degree or that certification or that next step, just stay the course, stay the path, steady, one foot in front of the other, and the fog will clear. And when it does, the view is
Mm.
unbelievable.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. But what we do in the foggy times is so important because you've no visibility,
Yeah.
but God does.
Yeah.
God does.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so beautiful. Such a good picture to leave us with is, in those foggy seasons, when I look back at them, it's almost hard to remember how hard they are
Yes,
because when it clears, it is so clear and
it
it's
is so
so
clear.
easy to see God's hand on every aspect, and it's
Yes,
so easy to look back and say, "Oh, that's why I had that little detour. That's why I did that little
yes.
thing, or that's why that season was so hard. I was
Hmm.
growing in this way."
Yes,
But it is in the foggy
it
season.
is.
There's no way to see your
No,
way out, and there's no path
no.
forward. I think that's what I see
Yeah.
when you think about fog. You don't know
Will it end?
which direction to go.
Yeah, where am
How
I?
long will it
Yeah.
stay? Um, so having that knowledge in the foggy season to
Yes.
just keep going where you are, be
Yes.
faithful
And
with what you've been
time,
given.
you know, the older we get, the more years that pass. We have rams in the thicket that we can
Yeah.
look back to. We have testimonies of God's goodness. And my husband just reminded me this week I had a shift happen at, with my job with a company I work for, and I got a little bit nervous. Here we've just moved to Loudoun County, which is right outside of Washington D.C., and it's the wealthiest
Mhm.
county in America.
Wow.
Um, and it's very expensive to live there. And I think maybe third to only New York and San Francisco.
Wow.
And so, don't quote me on that, but it is,
All the fact checkers out
yeah,
there.
all the fact checkers, you just let it be known it's in those ranks, okay? It's very
File that
expensive.
with our theology.
Hello, yes, in the theology and the
We
statistics
know enough
department,
to
I'm
talk
not a
about it, but
professional on those two things, and I'm saying that. So, and my husband had to remind me, "Has God ever failed you?" I
yeah.
said, "Well, no, but I'm a little nervy." He said, "Okay." And then a couple days ago, ram in the thicket,
Wow.
more beautiful than I could have ever imagined.
Hmm.
And so, God is good. He's faithful, and if we stay in his lane, we'll never be led astray.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Incredible. Thank you so much
You're
for all of
welcome.
that
Thank you for having me
wisdom
today.
that you've imparted. I know it spoke to me so much, and so I know
Oh,
it'll speak to someone else.
you're kind.
But I want to wrap up with a question
All
that we
right.
ask everyone.
I'm ready.
And it can be knee-jerk reaction, silly, serious,
Okay.
whatever comes to mind. What is saving your life right now?
This week, my Apple Watch that's stinging, water, coffee.
Yeah.
What is saving my life right now? I mean, in this moment, I mean, it's those things I just told you. This
Absolutely.
I'm kind of in survival mode this week, so ask me next week and it'll be different.
Yes. Yeah. Those essentials right now
Essentials and essential
are needed.
oils. Young Living folks out there, Deep Relief, rolling it all over, all over.
Bathing in it
Yes,
this week.
yes.
That's the perfume I smell.
And you know what? The chiropractor on a normal week saves me.
Yes. I am in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy, and the chiropractor is very high on the list of things saving my life.
Absolutely.
Right now.
I relate to that.
Yeah, so I agree. But thank you again. We really
You're welcome.
appreciate
Thank
you
you for
taking the
having
time.
me.